All right, we're live. Welcome in, everybody. Hawkins, Spliff, welcome in, Spliff. Casey, Mitson, Jetson, Frederick, Apri, welcome in, guys. Remy, Carlitos. Welcome in, everybody. How's everybody doing? Stuck in the range. We are stuck in the range every day. I'm here, and I'm just like all I am is basically just a guy that comes in every morning at 8:30 and says the same thing. We're stuck in the range, baby. We are still stuck in that range. We'll talk about it today. We'll go over it. We'll talk a little bit about that range. But is there a potential range break? Right? Is the market breaking range? But the good thing is we have been right off the ideas here, right? Again, the idea yesterday was simply flash sell demand, long demand. We spoke about that being a technical long spot, 586, 583, 576. Yet again, what happened yesterday is another demand hold off of the same 586 level, right? So again, just market maintaining key levels, and the market continues to go higher, right? The market is bullish right now, right? And that's the general idea, is that we must understand that from a larger time frame, the market is bullish, and shorter time frames you may see some flash selling into some key demands, but the market still maintains bullish as long as these levels are holding, right? So we're going to talk about it. We'll talk about the levels again today, where the supply is, and the potential possibility of there being a range break today, because there is a potential idea of that happening. And one of the main reasons why, is because of, and wait for this, because again, you guys probably know I have like some sort of weird obsession with Nvidia, but it's not a weird obsession. It's because Nvidia is a market mover, right? Nvidia yesterday's session reclaimed a big technical level. And we spoke about Nvidia being bearish yesterday in the pre-market session. We spoke about the idea of Nvidia being bearish as long as it's under 136, 137, right? This was the idea yesterday. Nvidia was bearish under the supply zone. You can see that within the first 5 minutes of market open yesterday, we flipped that bear bias back to a bull bias very quickly, right? And you can see that at 9:30 in the morning, at 9:29 a.m., I was looking for shorts at this level. Then at 9:35, I sat there for a second and was like, you know what? Why look for shorts anymore? This is obviously showing strength above our technical level. We longed it back to demand here. I waited a little bit for this because I really wanted to make sure I was right before I went long. I went long yesterday at 10:15 and got a little bit of an upside squeezer move back in the highs here, 137 plus. That was my day yesterday. I didn't catch the whole move. I didn't catch the whole crazy move, but I did make a little bit of money yesterday. Nvidia, why? Because we stuck with our ideas, right? Our idea basically was Nvidia was bearish on 136, and then in flipping that idea, it's bullish above 136. And that idea today is now what is causing the upside pre-market, right? So Nvidia being a bear stock back to a bull stock, these flips can make a big difference in the market, because of course Nvidia is going to play a role in how SPY moves. So we'll talk about AMD today as well. AMD obviously also had a strong session yesterday. We'll talk about Tesla yesterday as well. Tesla, to be honest with you, Tesla was a little bit of a dud for me, because I wanted that 350 rejection. It ended up rejecting around 348, so it was a bit earlier here on Tesla's chart. It moved from supply back to demand, and that was the session we had on yesterday for Tesla, right? Pretty much just a supply to demand move. Today's session, we'll talk about, again, the same supply and the same demand coming in this pre-market session, okay? We'll go over Amazon, and Amazon is interesting because something that I've been noticing again and again and again and again from a lot of these beta names this morning, and this is important, that I want you guys to not only just kind of digest what I'm telling you, but also kind of come up with your own ideas, because this is where that's how you make money, right? You have to come up with your own ideas. And the idea I want you to start thinking about this morning, right, is the idea that a lot of these names, okay, think of your Amazon, think of your Apple, think of your Nvidia, think of your AMD, right? These names are finding support at levels that matter, okay? And the level that matters is the daily 200 SMA. It's a very it's a very wide theme, right, on many different names today, and not just today, but the past few days in a row. So I want you to start looking at that and looking and see, well, hold on a second, what usually happens when the market maintains the 200 SMA? Right? What usually happens when you see us maintain 200 SMA? And what happens when we break the 200 SMA, right? But so that's the idea I want you guys to start looking at across the board, Amazon being one of them, also Apple being one of them too, right? Apple also maintaining above a what? a massive a daily moving average, right? So again, the idea this morning across the board is daily moving averages maintaining as support. And obviously on Amazon or an Apple, a little bit different here, but on Amazon, very much the case. Nvidia, very much the case. AMD, very much the case, right? You're seeing a lot of these SMAs holding across the board. And what I want you to do as well is I want you to also use that daily 21. So the daily 21 and the daily 200, right? You're seeing it across the board, many names. So we'll talk about it today. We'll go into it. What I want to do is I want to move over to our earnings reports, econ data. Then we'll go back and do our charts this morning session. Okay. So on the earnings docket for today, what we have in front of us is we have a Tuesday session, Dollar General, NEO. Nothing of importance today, right? Nothing crazy. I mean, if you're trading NEO, maybe that'll have some impact on Tesla. But besides that, nothing crazy here on the earnings side. Tomorrow, in the after-hour session today, we have CrowdStrike CRWD. I know that we want to go over Crowd because I think there's a few people asking for Crowd yesterday and I just completely skipped it. So today's session, I'll try to go over Crowd to make sure we have that down. Fancy, thank you much. Thank you very much, Fancy. You are awesome, Fancy. I feel like I went through my YouTube donations. I need to do something with what you guys have given me on this YouTube. I need to upgrade my background or something. I'll do something crazy. I'll spend $1,000 somewhere. I'll get a big metal bowl in the background or something. We'll do something exciting. DJ Priceless, awesome. Thank you very much as well. Thank you guys. You guys are absolutely awesome. Anyway, so economic docket for today's session. For today's session, we have factory orders 10 o'clock. We also have JOLTS job openings at 10 o'clock as well. A big theme of yesterday, and this is so important. Do you guys remember when yesterday's session, right? It was if you waited for that 10 o'clock data to come out, right? It was so much cleaner intraday price action. If you look at the price action yesterday before 10 o'clock, it was explosive. It was crazy. All of a sudden, people were chasing, right? Nasty price action, right? Nasty price action before 10 o'clock. Big upside, crazy downside. Then 10 o'clock comes in. And in 10 o'clock, we start to regulate here. We start to come back to the demand here at 10 o'clock. And we start regulating and finding support here at 10 o'clock. What happened there at 10 o'clock? Was it because we had a beautiful technical level here at 10 o'clock? Maybe you could argue that. But you could also argue some of it was due to the fact that the data had come out, right? The 10 o'clock data had come out, and that's what caused the market to regulate. So this morning session, right? We also have data at 10 o'clock. I'm not saying you have to wait to 10 o'clock, but I am saying you probably will have more clarity at 10 o'clock to help you get those trades and understand the market a bit better. So understand today's session today, 10 o'clock, JOLTS data, job openings data, big, important, colossal. That's it, okay? Wednesday session tomorrow, we have Bostic, we have more data. We'll talk about it as we go through tomorrow's session. Anyway, so I'm going to get some hydration. I'm going to read the chat, and we're going to dive into our charts. We'll start with SPY's chart. All right. Sometimes I feel like I am yelling at you guys, and I begin to lose my voice when I start yelling too much. Okay. So we have 1,000 people here this morning, and we have, how many likes do we have? We have 221 likes. That's okay. That's not bad, but we could definitely get those numbers up. Those are a bit rookie numbers. All right. So SPY's chart. SPY's chart intraday yesterday. So notice something here on my SPY chart. Notice from yesterday to today, there's one thing that I made different on my chart. And what I changed here was the fact that I added a level here at 590. Before, there was no level there at 590. We just talked about it like this. We said, hey, there's demand here, long demand, and long 576 demand. That's our discussion yesterday. Also was don't be long back in a supply here at 592. That was our discussion yesterday. Now, today's session from yesterday, the data from yesterday's session gave us something else that's important, and it's 590. Because you can see it was starting to become important on Friday, 590. And then on Monday's session, it really confirmed that idea. 590. If you look at yesterday's price action, right? Before the 590 breakout, I mean, look at what happened. This price action looks quite good yesterday, right? But why was this price action quite good? It really wasn't unless you did one of two things yesterday. First scenario was you did this. You realized that any flash selling into demand is a longable opportunity, and you long demand here at 10:05, 10:10, right? I went long on SPY around there is where I went long on SPY, right? Because we started to retain our 586 level. Okay. The second thing that you could have done well yesterday is you could have waited for a 590 breakout, which happened somewhere around here, right? Somewhere around here is where that actual breakout occurred, and you saw us break out over 590. Okay. So 590 broke out. And as soon as 590 broke out, it turned from being a little bit of a choppy day to actually being a nice little explosive day into that close price where you saw a pushback into 592. So it's a little bit of a nice move yesterday's session, but only if you were long in two spots, right? That's basically the theme of yesterday. Now, going to today's session, the levels are as follows. The first level we must talk about, again, still simply is that 592 level. 592 has not been removed. Just because we're adding 589, it doesn't mean that we remove that 592. 592 still is technical level of resistance. You've seen it again and again and again and again. In today's session, we are still at 592. For us to break range today, in my opinion, we need to see us clear above 592, right? And if you recall from yesterday as well, we spoke about this move here. Remember this move over here? This move over here, just pretend it's not even there. Pretend it's not even there, because this is simply just an after hours pre-market move. For people who are just joining us today and didn't come in yesterday's session, remember the idea that we turned on we turned on RTH, regular trading hours, and you can see that the level is not really that little crazy extension move higher like that, right? Looks crazy, but that's not the range. The range is here and the range is there. That's the range. Okay, so going into our session today, if you want us to break the range, you really want to see us hold 592 today. But not only hold 592, but you want to see us break and hold above that 593. So it's 593 is that little high you want to see us clear. So if you want to be smart today, make an adjustment here, right? And this is what you do after your data, because yesterday was our data day, and today's our data collection day. And today's session, now we have some clarity in the market. We know that if you are trading today's session, you're doing this. You know that we have supply above us at 593 to 592. That's the new supply zone. You have demand here at 590. You demand here at 586. You demand here at 583. And you demand here at 576. So these are the demands below us. Demand 1, 2, and 3, right? Or 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 levels of demand below us. You also have a supply above us here at 593. For us to break range, you are looking for this today. This is probably the best possible trade, is a break and hold above 593, because if you clear that level, we should see back into these highs over here, our crazy after hours high play. So that, in my opinion, would be a nice long opportunity above 593. If we do get above that level, I would expect some long side trades to present, and we can look for a target move back into 597. That would be a very nice trade today. And this again would be what? It would be a BOR, a break of range. We're gonna throw some acronyms around here. BOR, this would be a bore. If we break and hold above 593, we have a bore back into 597. We want the bore. That's what we want. We want a bore. We want a break of range, because that would give us some nice price action today back into these highs. Okay, so a bore would be good. If we pull back today, remember something. The idea that even if we pull back, it probably still is a pullback for longs. Now, today's session, we have a level here at 590. There's a level here at 586. There's a level here at 583. The levels that I'll be focusing on more so than anything today is going to be 590 and 583. Those are the two levels I'm focusing on the most. Why? Because this is that Friday low, 583. Friday's low is what I'm watching, and I'm also watching 590. 590 can hold today, right? This box can hold over here. Then we can look for a little long opportunity here, an upside trade. So watching to see if that 590 holds today as demand. Again, a little bit of a higher risk trade, but high risk trade. More conviction trade. More conviction trade. Okay, that's what I'm watching today in SPY's chart, right? And you guys now understand, hopefully, what I'm thinking here on the SPY chart, right? So remember I said something about there being a level on ES's chart, but sometimes it's not on SPY's chart, or vice versa. Well, we talked about 5950 being technical resistance yesterday on the ES chart. And of course, if you now kind of put everything together, and sometimes it takes us some time to put things together, you can now understand that this 5950 here, ES's chart, is simply the 593 level on SPY. So 593 level on SPY lining up perfectly with 5950. In today's session, if you're looking for a breakout today on the ES chart, you are watching this. You're watching to see, can we get above 593 on SPY, or in this case, 5950 on ES's chart. If we can get above this level over here, we should retrace higher back at 6,000 ES level. So watching to see if we can break and hold above that 5950, that would be your upside play, and range break the BOR move, the BOR, right? The BOR again, back into the 6,000 level ES, right? So that would be top watch. Again, this would be top watch for longs above that 593, okay, or 5950, right? So let's move on, guys. Again, the levels of demand, very much the case of being the correlated to SPY, right? 5870 on ES's chart was a level, right? Monday session, where do we produce a low at, right? The same level of demand, we spoke about yesterday on ES, right? Was what? 5870, 5870. That's the exact low yesterday. Today's session, the demand today is 5870. Again, same thing. But our second level of demand, the new level of demand that we're adding to our chart from yesterday's session was this level right over here. This high from Friday, this little Friday high here, 5931. Well, in SPY's chart, the Friday high is what? The Friday high, kind of not perfect. This is not perfect. This is no longer perfect, but it is 590 on SPY's chart. On ES's chart, that would be somewhere around this, right? So 590 on ES's chart should be somewhere around these highs over here, 5920. So I'm gonna make an adjustment here, and I'm gonna adjust for that little high here in the morning high, right? The morning high at 9:36 a.m. You can see, just to correlate, people who don't believe me, right? The 9:36 high on or on Friday session, you can see 10 on SPY chart was 10 o'clock, right? Because the time is different. But again, here 10:30, right? The high over here from the morning session is 590 on the ES chart. That same high in the ES chart is around that 5920. So today's session, watch 5920 on the ES chart. That is our equivalent of SPY 590. And if you're looking for longs today, you're looking for longs probably back either at demand here, right? Demand here or demand there. Those are your two long spots on the ES chart and the SPY chart going into our morning session. You don't want to be long here. If you see us do this and fail, you probably go back lower, right? This is your failure point. Watch 5950 as technical resistance, because of course it still is resistance going into our session ahead of us, right? You guys are probably getting bored of these indices. Let's go over the last one, Qs. On the QQQ chart, it's simply just 522.50, right? 522.50 is our big level. Below us, we have 512 demand. Technically, Q's chart didn't really do much yesterday. If you were a QQQ trader, I didn't really have a big... If you were watching Q's yesterday, this really didn't give you much conviction, right? Because again, all we did was simply just move higher, back to 517, rip off 517, back into supply, kind of a nothing day yesterday. On the NQ chart, probably kind of reiterates that same idea. On the NQ chart, I mean, it does, right? But you can see the importance of the golden level, right? The golden level being at 21,555. This again is the struggle zone, right? You don't want to be you don't want to be the guy or the gal, right? That says, you know what? Why did I lose today? Why did I lose money today? Because I longed it. I longed the NQ right here. I long the Qs right there. Because if you do that, you're going to be sitting at 2 p.m. You'll be sitting on the couch at 2 p.m. or driving back home at 2 p.m. or whatever you're doing at 2 p.m. And you're going to say, well, damn, I really should not have been long there at 21,560, right? This is just not the spot to be long. And right now, yes, even though the market's bullish, you can't long here, right? You cannot long back into our Monday's highs. You need to see us do what today? Either pull back to demand, either some sort of technical demand below us, right? Or you need to see us break and hold above this resistance zone, in which case we can look for long side trades. So what I'd watch out for today's session, of course, is simply 21,560, right? 21,560, if we can clear that. Look for long side trades back into highs. That's your level. That's your level. That's your level, right? You do not want to be long into this level. Wait for it to clear. In fact, if you see this happen today, which again, this could happen again yesterday. Look what happened yesterday in the after-hour session. After-hour session, you saw an excitement move higher. Bam, right? Today's session, let's not do that. Let's wait for it to clear higher. If it can, bull side come in, right? Right, so we are way over time on indices today. I don't know why you guys aren't cutting me off. You guys are supposed to be telling me to move on, but I'm gonna move on now. So, first ticker of the day is going to be Tesla. So, Tesla on the Tesla chart. Tesla level of technical demand yesterday was 332. This was our level of demand. Our supply zone was 350. Now today's session, the levels are very much so the same. Now, to be honest with you, yesterday I was very much so short. I can't speak. Very much so short bias. The reason why was because this had a break of trend, right? Or we said this was a break of trend. We have a consolidation high here. So we said, let's look for a pop and fade move today here on Tesla, or break and failure move on here in Tesla. We talk only about shorts here on Tesla. Now, today's session, what's our idea here in Tesla, right? Our idea here on Tesla is this, right? Is 350 resistance and 332 demand. I like this a lot for shorts yesterday. Now, to be honest with you today, I am more neutral. I don't know what's going to happen here. I would love, again, for this to be a nice, beautiful rejection play here at 350. I would love for that. But I don't know if it's going to happen because we already technically did it yesterday's session. And because we already did it yesterday's session, it kind of takes away that trade. I will still watch 350 as resistance. I know it's resistance. But remember I said Nvidia yesterday, 136 level, right? Being resistance and the short resistance. Well, the same idea as Tesla. Tesla, we can still short here 350 for puts. We can still do that. It's still a rejection spot to watch out for. Again, 350 being a rejection spot. You can see here, why is it a rejection spot? Because you can see back over here, back over here, back over here, back over here. Once it turns into rejections, it tends to move back down to that demand low. Now, the problem is that because it moved from supply to demand and supply to demand, I don't know if it's going to do it again. So I want to see what's going to happen here on Tesla's chart. Again, I'm not always going to tell you guys BS stuff. I want to tell you this morning, right now, here in Tesla, I think that Tesla, if it clears 350, if it clears 350 here, this is your long opportunity in a move higher back into 370 plus. So if you see 350 break today in Tesla, this is a long opportunity. If you see us fail 350, this is a short opportunity. So obviously, the best part about this is I can't be wrong, right? I'm going to come into tomorrow's session and I'm going to say, I told you so, because I literally can't be wrong. Because if it does this, I told you it was going long. And if it does this, I told you it was going to short, right? So I hate that because I hate coming up with ideas that are both are bilateral meaning you can go up or down. But the idea is that's what it is here in Tesla, right? It's going to either break 350, rip, or it's going to reject that 350 and fail, right? Exactly. You're saying it. It's either going to go up or down, right? So no matter what, I'll be right. But let's see what happens, right? Does it present a trade is the most important thing here. Do we see us break and hold and see a little break and retest above 350? In which case, long it, upside move. Watch that today, top watch. If you see us push into 350 today, and start to pin bar off 350, short it, downside move, right? That's what I'm doing here in Tesla. Again, it's bilateral. We're going to watch and see what happens here at 350. It's all that matters here at 350, okay? If it pulls back to 332, no bounces there. Look for a breakdown under 332 for puts. That's the only thing I'm watching here on Tesla's chart is a breakdown under 332 or 350 rejection or breakout. Again, it's bilateral. Let's see what happens there, okay? Nvidia. Now, Nvidia, I am mostly long biased here, right? And the reason why is because as long as Nvidia is above my green band here in the pre-market session, which we are above right now, I am bullish, right? Very simply, 136, 137. Yesterday, we longed it where? We longed Nvidia back at the resistance, right? We longed it back at the break and hold above resistance, longed it there, a little upside trade back in the highs. Nothing crazy, a little bit of a snack, right? A little bit of a snack to start the Monday off, the week off, right? It's not going to make you full. You're not going to walk away with a tummy ache, but you'll make a little bit of money in trades like this. Now, going into a recession in front of us, right? What we have going forward here is we have demand again here at 137, right? The level to watch out for is 137. If you see us pull back to 137 and set up a hold here, look for longs there. And again, if you fail back below 136, look for shorts to move down. That's the one I'm watching here on Nvidia. Again, sort of bilateral too, right? The idea is simply 136 holds. We look for longs there, which is what I'm doing this morning. I think if you pull back there, I look for longs there. 136, 137 being demand. If we lose 136, do not long this chart. It goes back to 128. We should short it and look for that move down. Okay, so again, Nvidia is a very nice looking chart this morning. Let's look at other names though. Let's look at AMD. On the AMD chart, AMD a bit more of an explosive day yesterday. So while Nvidia had a little bit of a day, AMD had a really nice day, right? AMD made almost a 5% equity move yesterday, AMD being stronger than Nvidia yesterday. Now, going into our session in front of us, the level to watch out for is simply 116. You have a level here at 116 that we have to break above. if we're going to see any longs work on AMD, the only thing you must watch out for, I shouldn't say the only thing because there are other ideas here, but the big thing you should be watching out for is number one, 111, right? 111 being technical demand below us. You can see 111 has been support. That was where we opened at yesterday's session on Monday. That was our high of Friday session, a little high point, right? It was our high of Friday of the 23rd. It was the lows of Thursday. It was the lows of Wednesday, right? So this 111 level is very important. If we can pull back to 111 today, you can set up a long opportunity off 111, right? Look for longs off 111. That'd be a nice long opportunity. Or you can look for the break and hold above 116. If we see us break and hold above 116, longs above 116 for a move higher back into 118.5. That's what I'm watching today here at AMD. Longs above 116, back at 118.50, or longs here at 111 as another demand zone, right? So again, AMD mostly watching for longs today, right? Not watching really any shorts in this chart. As long as you're above 111, we're holding demand here. That's a very big thing here. This is holding the daily 200 SMA, right? So again, the theme of today's session is the daily 200 SMA hold. Today's session, watching to see does this daily SMA hold here at this 110 level? Does it result in any upside? Watching to see if we can clear above 116. Okay, so let's move on. Let's go over SMH. SMH briefly also talking about this again. The same SMA, the 200 SMA, right? This is the 200. Oh no, this is the daily. This is the daily 21. This is the daily 21. This is the daily. So the daily 21, and the 200 day SMA, right? So obviously very big level holding here on the SMH, right? Watch to see. As long as SMH is above that 236 level, we are holding demand, and we are holding demand strong. So again, watch 236. If we are above 236, don't short semis, right? That was part of the reason why I flipped my bias from being bear bias to long bias on Nvidia yesterday. Why? Because the SMH was maintaining above that 238, 237 level. Today's session, if we are above this 200 SMA and that daily 21 SMA, look for longs, right? That's simply that. If we lose it, then you could short and look for a move down lower, because eventually maybe it does break. But as of right now, you're seeing what? You're seeing us retain above these two SMAs and that big level of tactical demand below us. Could you argue this is a bull flag too, right? Could you argue this is a beautiful bull flag, right? You could do that, right? This, again, looks to me like a bull flag here in the SMH, right? Let's move on. Avgo. I think Avgo reports earnings. Avgo reports earnings. You can see coming into our Thursday session. So Avgo, I mean, you gotta. If you are a breaking retest trader, you gotta look at this level in front of us. 237, 238 here in Avgo. Very beautiful level here in Avgo. This is the big level to watch out for. Look to see if Avgo can hold 237, 238. If it does, that's your long opportunity. Again, that's your spot today. Okay, TSM. Someone asked for TSM in the chat. TSM 196. That's your level here in TSM. If you want anything to happen here in TSM, it's got to break and hold above 236. Again, though, sorry, 196. 196. Again, though, you are seeing a maintenance of the daily 200 SMA and the daily 21 SMA lining up perfectly together, right? Lining up perfectly together. You're seeing a reclaim of the daily 21 over the 200 SMA, which again would be a bullish crossover, but that's not what's important here. What's important is we are basing off these SMAs. That is an important concept. If we're above these levels, bullish. If we're below these levels, bearish. I would say under 182 is where bearish sentiment comes in. Okay, Meta. On the Meta chart, it was yesterday's session. If you are a Meta trader, you have to have cojones, right? You have to have a little bit of, you really got to have cojones, right? I mean, Meta yesterday, absolute ripper above our level, right? It reclaimed 646. This is hard to trade, right? For myself, I would have a hard time trading this. Seriously, I would. The only long opportunity I would probably get on this chart would be somewhere back over here. Maybe if I was trading Meta, I would have longed that 649 pullback, right? With the stop loss under 646, it would have been like a $3 stop loss, so it would have been a little bit wide here. But that was your long opportunity yesterday. Either breakout trade off the open, or you would have longed the pullback, the intraday pullback to demand here. It moved from demand back to supply 660. The level today here in Meta, guys, is 660, right? If you're watching Meta today, watch to see, can this hold 660? If it can hold 660 today, that's your demand. That's your long spot. 658 to 660, 658 to 660, right? That's your little contorted box. Let's make the box proper. Why am I drawing boxes like that? Let's draw a proper box here. 658 to 660 is your proper box. If you're looking for longs today, that's what you're watching to see if we can get a pullback long, right? Look to see if longs can set up back over here, back at these previous highs, back at these previous highs. If we're above these highs over here, we're bullish. If we're below these highs over here, don't touch it. It probably moves back lower, back into our 627, 628 daily 200 SMA level, okay? That's what we have here on the meta chart. Again, I think I'm misspeaking here, by the way. This is the daily 21. That's not the daily 200. That's the daily 21. But again, still a big level to watch out for of demand below us. The golden level here on meta, 643 and 627. Okay, CrowdStrike, CRWD. CrowdStrike reporting earnings in the after hours session today. Going into a little bit of analysis here on the CrowdStrike chart, you can see that we have a lot of weird stuff going on over here. Let's just reset it all. We have a level over here around that 450 level. This is your level, guys. It's simple as that, right? I mean, you can't really get much more perfect than this. You have your daily 21 lining up perfectly with your demand zone here. If you're looking at anything here on the CrowdStrike chart, you're watching 450, right? If you see a little bit of an after hours move back into 450 and a hold there, look for longs off 450. That's what I would do here. The only short comes in under 450. If we lose 450, really 443 post earnings, you can look for shorts and a move down lower. But as of right now, look for longs in this chart. It's still bullish as long as it's above 443 to 450 as technical demand below us. Okay, those are your big levels to watch out for in CrowdStrike. Right, Amazon chart. Right, just look at this. Just take a second, little moment of silence over here. Look at what's going on here in Amazon at the daily 21 and the daily 200 SMA, right? Again, this is the theme of this week. Does it result in any upside? That's the question we have to be asking ourselves going forward. Does the daily 21 and the daily 200 SMA result in any continuation upside going into our sessions ahead of us? Now, right now, I would say this looks more bullish to me, right? Because we are holding demand below us. I would look to see if we can break and hold above this 20650. This 20650 was our level from before. If we can hold 20650, we can look for longs back in the 212. That's the next big level I have in front of us. So let's look to see, can we set up a trade here? Can we set up a trade here off 20650? You can see 20650, 20650, 20650, 20650, and right over here, again, 20650. If we can hold 20650 today, that's your long opportunity and a long spot and move higher back into 212. Okay, so watching that today's session is 20650, technical demand hold. Okay, let's move on. Let's go over Apple. Apple chart. Apple daily 21 is at 203. On this Apple chart, I would want to see us back above 203 for longs. Very simply, if we can hold above 203, I can look for longs above 203 and then move back into 207. That's the only trade here in Apple that I like, is a break and hold above that 203 level. If we clear 203, we reclaim the daily 21 SMA, and we also reclaim that big breakdown level from Wednesday of last week. Right? If we can reclaim this breakdown level from Wednesday of last week, 203, we should move higher back into 207. So watching that, if it reclaims for longs, for shorts, your only short comes in under 200, right? That's your only short. Yesterday's session, look at what Apple did yesterday. Yesterday we spoke about 200 being the big level. For above 200 we're bullish, for below 200 we're bearish. Look at what it did yesterday in Apple, right? This is a clean chart in my opinion. Big breakout. Don't chase the breakout. Wait for the pullback long here at 200. It pulled back to 200. It found support here at 200 and it ripped. Now today's session, if you're watching for Apple today, do this. Wait for it to break above 203. Don't chase the 203 breakout. Wait for it to pull back, find support here at 203, look for longs off 203, and upside trade. That's what I'd watch out for here in Apple's chart. Play 1, play 2. Those are the two trades I'd watch out for going into our session ahead of us here on Apple. Okay. Let's move on. I'm going over tickers. You guys are typing in the chat. I'll do a few more. SMCI. Obviously in the middle of a big supply and a big demand. I don't really have conviction here. Big supply above us, big demand below us. If you go to a larger time frame, you can see it is just a bull flag though. Could you argue this is a bull flag and a move higher off of the day 21 and the 200 SMA? Yeah, probably could, right? This is a little bull flag. This is a long for me too, right? As long as it's holding 39, it's a long opportunity. Okay, simple, right? Just very simple. These charts are very simple. PLTR. Remember I said if you are a PLTR trader, you're a 125 trader. Well, yesterday this is your first day, you probably didn't get a trade, right? PLTR ripped higher, pulled back to 130, right? Held 130 and moved higher. This is one of the only days in weeks where we haven't tested 125. I would still say this though, wait for 125. That's been the theme recently on PLTR, wait for 125, okay? Last ticker of the day, last ticker of the session. Let's go over Hood. Hood moving higher. There's probably some sort of catalyst impacting Hood this morning. I would watch this today in Hood. I would watch to see, can we get a pullback long back at demand here? You can see double top highs, 67. If you're watching for Hood today, you're watching to see, can you set up a long opportunity somewhere here at these high retest levels, right? Watch to see if that can happen. If you do get a pullback and a hold here, that's your long spot going into our session ahead of us. Guys, thank you all for joining in. I know I went over a lot of tickers this morning. I know I spent a lot of time on indices. I hope it wasn't too boring. But I appreciate everyone who stuck around and made it to the end with me. And I'll see you guys all for live trading. Happy and safe trading. Happy and safe Tuesday. Good luck, guys.